Reginald from Wesley. It's a pleasure, Charmaine.
Good morning, everyone, from my side, and also to Anthony and Mike, Karen, Driss, Andrew on Zoom as well, and the people on YouTube. There's a couple people there.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So good to have everybody present.
Just we'd like to last week. Sorry to the people on Zoom that got an echo. Um, there was an update to Zoom. This week, it's gone. So apologies for that.
Such is the nature of updates, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you can talk about updates today, Leanne. That's one of the things. Jim Everard, St. Nicholas,
Great.
uh,
Yeah, as
also
we
from East London.
get going, we
Yes,
just
listen.
thank you for joining. Right. We will get going in a few moments. So just to welcome you and to just say we did do a little change in our schedule. And so we will be doing cybersecurity today, led by our director, Sibasiso Zunga, and then we'll go into the AI session. Last week's session did regarding social media was really great, and so we didn't have enough time to, and we didn't want to rush the AI, so we've moved it into this week, and then just so we will be covering that, and then next week's session, the Wednesday session that we've been having, will take place next Thursday, the 25th, as the 24th next week is the public holiday. So our final week for next week will be on Thursday at 10 o'clock, as opposed to the slot at 10 on a Wednesday. So that's just an announcement from them. And so today we will be covering AI and cybersecurity. Very important. On the training page on our website are the links to the previous sessions on YouTube, and you're welcome to go and watch that and share that with everyone. Would be appreciated. Right, Sibasiso, do you want to welcome, just check that you all connected. It is now 10 o'clock. We'll start at about 3 minutes past 10, just give a couple people to join in. Um, but Sibisiso is one of the directors of my church, um, and you're welcome to unmute yourself and share your screen and show us your face. The Reverend Chris Harrison is also one of our directors, and those that have been part of our sessions over the last 2 weeks would know Chris as well. And I'm Leanne, the operation and head of development from my church.
Good morning, everyone. I hope we are all well and blessed. Thanks, Leanne. I would
Sibisiso, we're not
like.
hearing your mic.
Can't you hear me? Let's see. Let me just check something quickly.
I am hearing you.
Oh, okay. I was wondering. Leanne, can you? Can you hear me, Leanne?
Leanne, I can hear both you and Sibusiso.
And I also need sharing rights, Leanne.
You should be able to share.
Not yet.
Sibisiso, can you not share?
No. Should I try reconnecting?
Please be patient.
Okay.
Sorry, Sibisiso, you should now get rights.
Okay. Wait.
Here we are.
Yeah, there we go.
You should be able to share now.
Yes, I'm on it now. Let me do this rather. Window. I think in the interest of time, maybe we should start. Can we just check if we have connectivity and I'm audible on all platforms? Maybe if you can check for me, Leanne. Show thumbs up here on Teams. And maybe check on Zoom if the colleagues can share that. And please kindly let us know where you're from, your name, where you're from, which denomination and church are you from, so that we may know. And just as a quick introduction again, I am Sibusiso Zungu, a director for my church IT, and in my other capacity, I am involved in a lot of technical work, including cybersecurity, which is why I'm here today to share what I'm about to share with you. So let's start with a few questions to everyone that is in the room. I'd like to know from everyone, if do you leave your home unlocked at any given time of day, especially when you are not at home or when you are asleep? Please note these questions because they're going to come up during exam time. Yes, we are going to have exams. And do you share your keys with your neighbors and friends? Your home keys, your car keys, your safe keys, and all keys. These are physical keys. Do you trust that those who provide home services, do you trust those who provide home services? This may be meter readers, this may be people who are delivering food for you or delivering packages for you, and the likes. Do you actually really trust them? And the other question is, who do you trust and why do you trust them? This may be at work, this may be at home, might be a parent, it might be a child, it might be a spouse, it might be a friend. Who do you trust and why do you trust them? Please keep these questions in mind as we continue, because we want to gauge that we all are understanding that nothing about cybersecurity and privacy is that technical. All of it has got something to do with how we behave as human beings. And yes, technology does apply, but it's mostly about what do we as human beings do and how do we perceive the use of technology. So I'm going to take you through 5 areas this morning. It's computer security, cyber attacks, mobile device security, phishing, and then we'll discuss privacy under POPIA, which is South Africa's legislation on protection of personal information, or privacy in short. So let's zoom in into computer security. Computer security, it touches on how we secure our laptops, physical security that is, to prevent theft, or at least to lock it so that you prevent others from accessing it without your knowledge. Desktops, again, they might be larger to steal, but more often than not, you find that if you don't lock it, as in lock it so that you need a password to open it, then you still have a problem with it. USBs or external drives or any of those, try to use this as less as possible because they contain a lot of hojas. There's a lot of hojas on these things because people just put it in on any computer. They go to internet cafe for printing. They use these USBs and then they come back and they put it on their computers, especially work computers as well. And we are mentioning these because some of the people that are working in our churches or volunteers in our churches, you find that they do use work computers as well, and that in itself becomes a weak link in securing our environment. Digital files, again, they may be in any media, whether it's a computer or USB, that can be stolen. Where possible, let's try and encrypt files and try and use cloud storage as much as possible, whether it's Google. Google is generally free. Try and use that as much as possible. But obviously, all this is linked with passwords and how strong our passwords are. But the other problem is that we tend to trust, again, these passwords, which are the keys to us accessing our services. We tend to trust that if we allow the computers to autofill this, then we are safe. Remember, it's frustrating to change your password often. It's frustrating to have a linked password that we normally can't remember, but you are not going to buy a blank key and use that in your entire house, because anyone can buy a blank key and use it anywhere. So you have to make sure that you've got a unique password that's not going to be easily accessible. So let's be mindful of that. And then here are questions that I'm going to ask you, and just maybe for us to participate and make sure that we are following. These are the do's and don'ts of physical computer security. So the first one says, do you use a cable to secure your computer while you are away from your desk? Is this a do or a don't in your view? So just quickly type it in the chat as well. And then the next one is, do you write down your password on a slip of paper which you store on your desk as part of computer security, or is this a don't? Do you plug USBs into your computer to determine if they are dangerous? Is this a do or a don't? Do you create a different password for each device and account you use? Again, is this a do or a don't? Do you only share your password with people you trust? Remember, I asked the question earlier, who do you trust? And then, is this a do or a don't? Do you avoid allowing your browser to autofill your account credentials? Is this a do or a don't? Do you only leave your laptop open and unlocked during office hours? Is this a do or a don't? Are you cautious when entering your password into a device when people are around? Is this a do or a don't? So all these, they are correct and others are not correct. So let us see how you participated, and you can mark yourself on this one. And let's see. Again, the green is what you have to do. The red is you cannot do it. So you cannot write down the password on a slip of paper which you store on your desk. This is as good as locking your house and leaving the key right outside the house or right at your gate. That's basically what you'll be doing there. If you plug in USBs into your computer to determine if you're dangerous, you're already in danger. Because if there's a hoja in there, it's already infected your computer, and that's it. We do not share passwords. We don't share keys with friends and neighbors. So we don't share these passwords. And it's quite important to remember that. We only leave, we don't even leave laptops open and unlocked during office hours, because a laptop, for instance, if we're employed and you use a laptop with others or a desktop with others in the room, and even if it's not even in a room, even if you've got your own office, and you can lock it, there's probably someone who's got a key to unlock the office. Just make sure that you lock your computer during office hours. It's as simple as clicking Control-Alt-Delete and click lock. Almost all computers have got that function. I've never seen a computer that doesn't have that function, but I stand to be corrected because I don't know everything. But try and find, how do you lock your computer? So when you stand up and you have to go to collect a paper for printing, please do that. Because the danger of not doing that is that you will find that someone can actually go on your computer, change whatever they are changing, or send emails as if you were sending it. Again, it's an issue of trust. They might be your colleague. You might have worked with them for 17 months. You might have even went to a braai with them and cough with them, but you don't know where they come from and what they're about. So I would rather you don't. Just lock it. And you should be cautious about entering passwords into your devices when people are around. And you should avoid at all costs allowing your browser to autofill your account credentials. We like it. It's more convenient. It's much safer. If you're accessing over 30 systems at any given time, you want to have less headaches when you log in. But again, that's risky. Creating different passwords for each device and account you use, that's very important as well. We know more often than not, you were born in 1975, and your password will generally have a 1975 in it. And there's probably something that you really like. You like chocolate cake, and you'll have chalk at 1975. Please be mindful of that. Do not do that, because this is how people get to access systems. And by the way, the biggest weakness when it comes to cybersecurity is us human beings. Systems are generally secured if we use them properly. Cyber attacks. Let's go to cyber attacks. There's various types of cyber attacks. There's malware, which contains viruses and worms, and this generally would creep in via various forms, USBs and the likes, and they would generally creep in and start infecting your entire computer. Like the word said, it's a virus. If you know virology, even in biology, it's very similar because it has similar traits. Trojan horse, again, similar to worms and viruses, but this one is masked. If you know the story of a Trojan horse, you'll understand that it's a masked program that it presents itself in a disguise, if I may call it that, and some of the tools may not be able to pick it up as well. Ransomware, prevalent in our organizations, and churches are very vulnerable to ransomware, by the way, and NGOs and NPOs, they're very vulnerable because we tend to have a very high trust level. I don't know why. Probably has something to do with the fact that churches are in the business of trust and truth. So because of that, we tend to be more trusting and we tend to be more understanding. And ransomware is very risky because once they infect your network or your computer, they will lock it and demand payment. It is a ransom, basically. So they'll hold your data and your access in ransom and expect you to pay for that. Then you've got social engineering. It is social in nature because it requires human beings to interact and interface. And you've got phishing, which is generally sending out a number of emails to target those that are unaware. And more often than not, again, it's a trust issue. They will write it in such a way that you believe what they want from you and gain access either to your systems or because you are trusting, then you start sending money and the like. So, and then you've got spear phishing, which is targeted attacks. These attacks are targeted. They will make sure that they direct it to you. I remember I once received an email which almost got me. I mean, I've been in this industry since 1999. I've seen things in this industry, and they sent an email, and it was addressed to my surname Zungu, but they actually used my father's name as the person that needs help. And the only reason why I caught on very quickly there is purely because my dad is already too old to be using computers and emails, and the only thing that he does really focus on is WhatsApp, and that's about it. So that's how I picked it up. But had he been in industry and using that, I probably would have said and really thought about it. But that's the thing with social engineering as well. Call. If you receive an email and it just doesn't look right, call, because most of these emails will pick up that there's something that's particularly off here. And then there's the physical as well, where they would make sure that they engage with you even by phone as well. The other common ones, advanced persistent threats. This is a repetitive sending of emails and the likes, and then the spam. We all know spam. Whatever it is that is in the junk, generally don't trust. Sometimes these tools do get it wrong. You may want to go through it, but I mean, most people that will send you information, they will generally know if you haven't received it, and they may send it, or you can call and say, please resend it, and then so that you can check. And then there's this other one, Wi-Fi eavesdropping, which is generally we as churches are also subjected to this a lot. because we are generous with the usage of our Wi-Fi wherever we go. And the other thing is that you will go into a public place, you will connect your your device to the internet, and because we don't know any better, but there might be someone sitting next to you who will be able to gain access to your device and start looking at what it is that you're doing. So let's be very vigilant when we do that. And that's why they say if you have to use public Wi-Fi, use VPN, which is virtual private network, which is very secure. Again, it's probably not necessary. If you can, please get yourself your own mobile router, the small mobile routers. Put your own airtime if you can't get to your fiber in the house or at work, and just use that. It's far much safer. You only have access to that, and it's not going to cause you problems as well. If there are any questions, by the way, please jot them down in the chat. And I would ask my colleagues, Leanne, if there are any questions, please stop me, and then I will try and take these questions. But I'm gonna try and go through this as fast as I possibly can, colleagues, so that we've got this. We will share these slides, by the way. So there's a couple of things that you need to acknowledge how you are compromised. You might have a slow computer, unless it's old, because if a computer is old, it will be slow. Not everything is a virus, by the way. A crashing computer, that might be an issue. Annoying pop-ups, fake email and social media messages, unexpected software, and disabling of antivirus software. Some viruses may require you to disable software. Don't disable your antivirus software. Do not do that. Especially if it's work-related, try and get to your nearest technician, find out what's happening. They'll probably assist in terms of that, but just don't do it. And don't install software that you know nothing about. We are very generous. Again, we are trusting, and others do not know this, but we tend to give, especially our teenagers, our computers, and they'll access the computer and they'll install whatever they want, and they may install software that is very, very risky. So please be careful of this. I've got teenagers of my own. They know that the house is always secure in terms of whatever it is that they're installing, whether it's on the phone or on the computers, purely because I generally have trust issues when it comes to such things as well. And all of us should, by the way. How can you tell if someone is trying to fish you? It's probably too good to be true. The only time that something that is too good is true is when we think about Christ and what he did for us on the cross. That's the only time. Everything else is too good to be true. Personal information requests. Your bank will generally show you that they want to call you. And now it's even nicer if you've got an app on your phone. Most banks, before they call you, they will send you a notification that we are about to call you, and it's going to pop up on your app, on your phone. So be mindful of that. Bad spellers, we've seen this time and time again. They will generally have these bad spellers, but there's the other thing around bad spelling as well. They are trying to make sure that those that are vigilant are not responding to those emails, because it's a waste of time for the hackers. They always get to the people who are not vigilant with that bad spelling, because if you respond and you've seen the bad spelling, it means you are a target and they'll go for it. So bad spelling is just a good sign of seeing this. An unfamiliar sender, if someone that's new that's sending information, please, by all means, it might not be true. And false identities, this happens a lot as well. And be mindful of being sent friend requests from Elon Musk, or Elon Musk telling us that they found out, or Patrice Motsepe, they found a way of making money for a lot of South Africans, and really, if you're a billionaire, you're not going to share everything about being a billionaire, because then everyone becomes a billionaire, and you stop being a billionaire, it stops being effective. So generally, rich people are not going to come to you and say to you, here's a way of making money. It doesn't happen. We haven't seen it happening before. It will never happen. So do not fall victim to that. There is no rich person that will come to you and say to you, we're giving you money. It doesn't happen. So be proactive. Before downloading any program, make sure that you trust the site. Avoid falling victim. Regularly back up your files. Watch for suspicious emails, videos as well. Do not use public Wi-Fi for activities where you need to submit your personal information. Avoid that at all cost. A quick one around mobile security. Mobile security is mobile device penetration is very high in the world, but mobile security isn't where we need it to be in industry. So we have to be extra cautious and vigilant when it comes to that. Make sure that you've got an antivirus installed on your phone as well. There's a lot of antivirus software that readily available for your protection. Make sure that you
Sibusisa, I think we lost your audio.
I got cut off there. I think it was a Vodacom thing. Can you hear me all?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, my fiber has been giving problems, so I was using my mobile connectivity. Yeah. So thank you for that. So let's be mindful of that and make sure that we are vigilant, and don't avoid using the notes to store, even on your phone, to store your personal information, especially passwords, because I know most of us do have this notepad on our phone. So please avoid doing that. It's very insecure as well. So yeah, I've mentioned this, by the way. Stay alert, don't download apps, install Find My Phone and the likes, and try and keep abreast of what is happening in the industry. Where you can, if your phone keeps on asking you for updates, try and push for the latest updates. It's that important because most of them are security updates. And let's activate multi-factor authentication where you can. If you need to use your phone to authenticate, please do that. Multi-factor, it means that you're not just using your password, but using your password, and there might be an additional tool that you have that allows you to authenticate as well, not just your password. Just in case your password gets compromised, this other tool assists you as well. Microsoft has got something similar to that. Android has got something similar to that, and the likes. So please use that as well. Phishing. So again, we've discussed this common phishing emails that you will get, but I wanted to touch on this a lot so that we can get a full understanding and an appreciation of this. There's always a sense of urgency. Please send us 5,000 rands. There's this that's happening, or if you don't take up this opportunity right now, it's going to go away. Or and this is common again, and I have to raise this again. If you're about to buy a car and someone says pay us a deposit, otherwise someone else is taking it, or we have to ship it somewhere. Again, it's too good to be true, especially if it's reasonably priced. It's too good to be true. Someone may ask you for a transfer, a bank transfer. Again, be mindful of that. Or someone may say that there has been someone who changed your account information and we need to verify. Or someone may say to you, your account has been hacked. And this they know they will get to you. Because most of us, when we hear hacked, we actually panic. Or your subscription is coming to an end, you must click here to continue your subscription or something like that. please contact your proper service provider. Don't just fall victim to that. Again, donation of money, you've won a prize. And they do include logos and brand names and slogans of legitimate companies. They will use it. That's how they actually get to you. They will copy whatever the other company is doing and use it exactly as is so that they can get to you. Please be mindful of that. As mentioned, do not click links, hover over links, meaning as I'm doing this, if there's a link here and you hover over it, it will tell you which address you are trying to access by clicking there. Be mindful of that. And then keep your web browser up to date. Never provide personal information through email. Again, reach out to the company directly. And don't open attachments that you didn't expect to receive. And this is the thing. Most companies, they are also very wary of sending you attachments. And they will mention that if there's an attachment, it's probably has a password on it as well. Then let's zoom into our Protection of Personal Information Act. In fact, before I go to Popeye, let me pause there. I did not, this is not a comprehensive training, by the way, meaning that there's more training that's available online for individuals. You may go to Coursera, it's free, and they will get to train you a lot on cybersecurity and protection and the likes. But please remember this. You can't do something different on the computer that you are not going to do physically. So because when you have to leave, you lock your house. When you leave your car, you lock your car. And we always turn back now that we know there's this thing of device blocking and where they can block your keys to work. We always turn back to make sure that the car is locked. Do the same when you're using a computer. Do not fall victim. Do not be prey to these people who've got very, very bad traits. So let me quickly check, Leanne, do we have any questions on cybersecurity before I touch on Popeye?
I'm not seeing any in the chat. So
Okay. Okay.
we
Now,
will
colleagues, yeah,
do
those that
Popeye and then we'll get on to the AI stuff. Thanks.
okay, cool. Thank you. Right. Look one. With Popeye, again, what we need to note is that there's this definition. This is directly from the Act. There's these definitions that they've given. There's the competent person, any legal person who's legally competent to consent to any action of being taken in respect of any matter concerning a child. Data subject means the person to whom personal information is related. It might be clergy, it might be laity in our churches. The information officer, this is the senior-most person that needs to be involved. Must be the bishop or secretary general. Personal information means information relating to an identifiable living natural person where it is applicable, an identifiable existing juristic person. Processing means any operation, activity, or any set of operations, whether or not by automatic means concerning personal information. And responsible party means a public or private body, any person which alone or in conjunction with others determines the purpose of means of processing personal information. It might be a connection or a synod in this case. So quick one, we've got 8 conditions that are listed that we need to comply with under the Popeye. Accountability, meaning that the responsible party must ensure that the conditions set out in the charter and all the measures that give effect to such conditions are complied with. And then processing limitation, personal information must be processed lawfully and in a reasonable manner that does not infringe the privacy of the data subject. Case in point and an example, if I leave my information in your trust, suppose you were using my church systems, the church management system, to update information about the church members. That information is solely for use in church. You can't take my information and give it to tracker to sell me a tracker. Even if the person that sells that tracker is a congregant and we sit in the same pew, if I do not consent, Do not do that. Do not take my children's information and send it to anyone. That's not allowed. That's where the limitation happens, unless I give you authority to. Purpose specification, personal information must be collected for a specific, explicit, defined, and lawful purpose, as mentioned, and further processing limitations to be compatible with purpose of collection. So it's always around why do you want this information? Why am I giving you the information? And what are you going to do with it and the processing thereof? It can't be for purposes of anything other than that which we agreed upon. Information quality, again, a responsible party must take reasonable practical steps to ensure that personal information is complete, accurate, not misleading, and updated when necessary. And this is important. Everyone who is in charge, you have to make sure, especially those that are in administration positions as well. Openness. If personal information is collected, the responsible party must take reasonable practical steps to ensure that the data subject is aware of the information being collected, and where the information is not collected from the data subject, the source from which it is collected, the name and address, and the purpose for which the information is being collected needs to be there. So we need to open. Security safeguard. A responsible party must secure integrity and confidentiality of personal information in its possession or under its control by taking appropriate and reasonable technical and organizational measures. Part of what my church IT is doing is exactly that. But what we can't do is, as soon as you access it using the keys that we are referring to, meaning you've logged in and accessed, and whatever else that you do there, it's your responsibility. But for as long as it's not open with a key, then we actually manage that as well. And data subject participation. So data subjects may access and correct their personal information from source. This becomes important as well. And we do give access to this from a My Church domain point of view as well. Lastly, it's better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in men, because again, rather not trust anyone and make sure you do the right thing. They might be trustworthy and very faithful servants, but just rather don't trust them. Place your refuge in the Lord. Thank you very much. That is my slide. Thank you. Thanks, Leanne. I'm not sure if there's I'm not seeing any questions yet.
Thanks, Sibasiso. And thanks, everyone. Dres, you said not to write down important info like passwords. One can easily forget. How do I miss something? I think password managers are an awesome tool to use, and to make sure that you keep it safe. There are other ways, like a password protected Excel or Word document is another way we've seen people do it. So, Dres, hopefully, if you want us to help a bit further, we can do that as well. I want to just also want to add here to what Sibusiso was saying. We've seen a number of issues with mobile security, side loading on Android apps, etc. So please be very, very careful there, and making sure that your phone and your software is up to date. And then one of the other things, just to add, if you have been compromised, don't be embarrassed and don't like hide it. Because what happens with these hackers is they get in, they've got access to your system 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, then they ransom you, etc. Rather ask for help and etc. So that was just the other thing I wanted to add. And then just around the device unintended, especially in the church, if you are presenting or something and you're going to go to the toilet, lock your computer, because there are people who will go and we've seen this where you're in the church, you're presenting words, you're also the Facebook administrator, somebody goes and adds themselves as the Facebook administrator, or they make themselves an admin of the WhatsApp group, or funny little things like that. Um, we had it earlier where a minister was conducting a funeral and left his computer on his desk, and somebody then went through the window and accessed the computer and then asked money on behalf of the minister via WhatsApp to the congregants to say that he was in a car accident. And they literally did it through the window of the church office. So making sure your computer is password protected and locked. You might think it's in the church office and you've locked the church door, but they got through the window and accessed it.
Mm.
So please just be very mindful of those. Um, Perfect. Right. Right. The next session around AI. Um, Let me go here. Great. Okay. And okay, everyone can see. So fundamentally, we are about building communication, and communication is a vehicle for connection and our effective communication. So, what is AI? And you're welcome to put answers in the chat here. And so, artificial intelligence is when a computer starts learning things um, based on machine learning. And it's often started off, if A equals B, then it must be this. But if A equals C, then it's that. So, in other words, if sky equals blue, then it's day. If sky equals black, it's night, kind of thing. So that's how machine learning started. And then it's based on large language models to say, well, if it's blue and gray, then maybe it's evening, etc., etc. And so that's how we are where we are with AI. Right. So AI and large language models is integrated in everything we have. Um, and every one of us are now using it. You're using AI for spell checking. You're using AI on your device when you're getting directions. So back in the day, we had GPS that had maps, and maps went and told us how to get from point A to point B. Now we have Waze and Google Maps, which is all owned by Google, by the way, to calculate what is the fastest way for this time. There's accidents, it tells you to reroute. That's just AI. So large language models are just models based on things that have been learned. AI is the machine learning. And then generative AI is now when the AI can start generating things like pictures, like content. And so in the last few years, we have been seeing this. Who has seen this video? There was over 200 million views on TikTok on this. And the caption was, "Look what I found on my CCTV," kind of thing. Now, this here was 100% AI generated. Some may even call this AI slop. Um, but it's a part where people have believed that this was real when in fact it's not. Um, and this is, there we are. So benefits is able to learn, reason. Full artificial generative is still theoretical. We're not there. AI
Leanne,
is
Leanne,
broadband.
we really can't see the slide properly.
You should be able to see it now with the high contrast. Okay, can others see it?
Sorry, I'm still struggling to see it. I can't see it.
Let me go. Okay, is this one better?
It's showing fine on Zoom, but then not on Teams.
Oh wow. It's just try to switch that back on again. Hopefully that's better.
Still not, Leanne. We're struggling. It's got some benefits and uses of AI, and then I see a tick, and then a microscope or a viewer, whatever you call it. But I can't read the print inside the blocks. So I see in very dark thing benefits and common uses, but I can't really read it. It's very dark. Maybe you can go exit and come back in again. I don't know whether that's possible. I'm just making a suggestion. I'm going to stop talking now.
That may make it better. Does that make it worse for everyone else? Yeah. Okay.
Still can't see, so I don't know what else to say. I'm stopping talking.
Okay. Let me change the viewer here. Apologies. The joys of doing live presentations, which work fine in test scenarios, but not when you are. I'm sorry, I'm just going to reshare it. So I'm just quickly changing the theme in the slide. That should then make it better. Is that better now?
That is perfect. Absolutely perfect. Thank you.
Right. Sorry about that. Great. Okay, so the benefits AI saves us time, boosts our productivity, is always available, it's flexible, it's a learning tool. Common uses is writing and editing, being able to research, teaching and training, brainstorming, language help. This is translation, proofreading, and technology support. And so this is important. This is an assistant, not a replacement. um, and and we're in a country where we speak multiple languages, and English is not everyone's first language. And so I would encourage people to sometimes use AI to assist them when writing adverts, etc., just to help clean up things so it makes sense. And also, you can say to AI, I'm creating an event, and you want to put it on Facebook. Um, it will then ask it to say, hey, would this make sense to others? Um, and something simple things to say, hi, I'm at a church, St. Mark or St. Stephen's. In Parktown, um, there's a Methodist church and sorry, not Stephen's, St. Francis. There's a Methodist St. Francis and an Anglican. And often the two churches just say, come to St. Francis Church, and don't mention it's the Methodist or the Anglican church. Um, and I know people there that land up going to the Methodist when they're supposed to go to the Anglican, or the Anglican instead of the Methodist. So ask AI, will this make sense? Because you know your church is St. Francis, etc. So there's just a simple example where that would just be helpful as well. Remember, AI is trained on what it's learnt off the internet, and we know what the internet sometimes produces. So don't always believe what you read. So this is about language models, thinking, and then producing an answer. So AI, where we're at, is really good at being able to write simple stuff, think for you, as that example about where you're at, etc., etc. To say, oh well, you put St. Francis. Is this St. Francis in Joburg or St. Francis in Roodepoort? So that's where it's great. If you're starting to ask it the meaning of life kind of question, you're now working into a very dangerous territory. So search engines, um, using it to design pamphlets, logos, and that. So, paid versus free AI. Free plans often use older or lighter models. So these are the books that it has available to look up into, where the paid stuff can look into a lot deeper information. Answers can be generic or miss nuances, where the paid one can go into a deeper dive. It's not always that AI is bad, but sometimes when you're on a free version, you're getting the free kind of stuff. Hallucination. So I think everyone here has heard of AI hallucination. This is when it starts making up things or references or quoting stuff that doesn't exist. Now, in our last 6 months, the models have got so much better that the hallucination rates have gone from 70% down to 20-30%. And so it is a heck of a lot better, but it still does it. So just be very careful, especially if you're looking for references, etc. Always just Google it. Mistakes can erode things. And so you still need to be critical and being able to review what you're seeing. Um, Often, what you would find is if you are going down an interaction with the AI and it is um, getting to a point where it's giving you rubbish, making mistakes, hallucination, just start a new chat. Don't fight with it because it's now got itself in believing what it's believing, and you can't argue with it. So just kill the chat. Don't kill the AI. Just kill the chat and start a new one. Yeah, the other thing with free tiers is they've got limits. So you can only have 50 chats a week or a day, and then it starts blocking you or slowing you down or can't generate images or etc. And so paid people get faster access. So I mentioned just now that AI is trained on data off the internet. And through web pages, it looks at books and papers and newspapers. It looks at images and videos. And you would have noted there's a lot of stuff where it has trained off people's licensed materials, and companies are wanting the AI companies to pay for the content. And I do apologize. I see there's this content is spelt wrong there on the slide. And so there's opt out. So this is a very interesting part because we want, in order for AI to get good quality data, it needs to be able to learn. And so one of the things is if your data, your books, are not available for the AI to learn or you are opting out, then their content isn't learned. And one of the challenges we have is that AI is largely trained on a Northern Hemisphere English perspective, predominantly European and American. And so in Africa, we want some Pan-African content. We need vernacular content that it's trained on. And so this is the golden age that we spoke about. People don't want to see AI slop. They want to see real, genuine content. And so I would encourage us to write content, to put it out there, and even better if it's in vernacular, so that when people come and ask the AI in vernaculars for content, that it can respond, that it's been trained, and that it isn't hallucinating and guessing. Hopefully this one makes sense, and if you want to ask some more, we can have a conversation offline. So yeah, train the AI. Microsoft 365 has Copilot that records meeting, takes minutes, summarizes notes, able to create presentations, etc., etc. One thing I do want to be very, very careful of, AI is an assistant. It is not there to replace people. So please don't go and fire your volunteers or your staff because now you're going to use AI to do everything. That isn't what it is meant to do. It's meant to give you entry into tools and information that was not accessible. It was able to help speed things up. It's not there to replace humans and to replace brains. So, 1 Thessalonians, test everything, hold fast what is good. And so the question is, does this glorify God? Does it serve the vulnerable? And does it build disciples? And so is your technology hurting the church? And the church is people. So AI is a tool that can help people, but not replace what God has placed in us. What you may input may or may not be kept private. Don't replace people with AI. Read the fine print. Don't automatically trust the output. And most AI will try and predict what is next best for your question. One of the things that we need to be very careful of is only submit information that you'll be comfortable with sharing with other people. Do not input personal identifiable information. And don't input deeply personal matters. AI is not a counselor. It is not somebody that can make life decisions for you. It is merely using models to predict what would be the best outcome. And so, if you had to do this and say, what is destroying planet Earth? The AI's answer is going to be humans, and the answer is to get rid of humans. That's what the model will tell it. But we know that that's not what we want. So, companies like ChatGPT and Gemini have gone into the models and have told it, if people ask this question, you can't answer it, get rid of the humans, and have intervened in those kind of spaces. So, yeah, please be very careful around dependency. One of the things that we have seen is that AI can be trained on content and voices. On 2 minutes, on a person's voice, I can simulate it 90% that it sounds like them. And what people have done is they've taken loved ones that have passed on, taken voice notes and other videos, uploaded it into the AI, got the AI to learn about them, and then as this person has passed on, has created an AI image clone of the person to interact. And so we've seen this AI dependency. So for those that are in counseling, one thing that you probably want to prepare for is people who are dependent on AIs for loved ones that they've lost. And so you would note in the media in recent weeks, ChatGPT switched that functionality off, and they actually had to switch it back on because people were so distraught because there was such a dependency. And so this is real, and it's happening in South Africa. And so please just be very careful. AI is not a therapist. There's lots of great things, creating pictures, doing things. But it's also not there to be abused, etc. Yeah, that's my time. I could go on for another hour on this, but the idea is this is our team. If the next slide goes, you see Sisu, who presented our cybersecurity, Francis, who presented last week on our social media, myself and Chris in the bottom right there, and Zanele, who helps out as well with the system. So this is our session. I hope this was helpful. We are fully aware that we limited the session to an hour with very deep content. And so here at my church, we are here to help you, to answer questions. If your security is not up to scratch, you're welcome to come have a consultation with us. Find out what you can do. And that AI is here. It is like as ambiguous as the car was and how it replaced horses to get around. AI is here. We need to use it safely. We need to be responsible. And we also need to make sure that people are not dependent on it. So thank you. I hope that we kept this simple because this can be a very deep conversation. I'm seeing helpful in the comments. As I said, the session will be repeated tomorrow night for those that you want others to listen in, and the recording will be on YouTube as well. And then next week we will have our final week in this series, looking at church management, as well as how we are going to bring compliance in to help you. And that, I guess, is it. I am now waffling. And just to remind you, next week morning session will be on Thursday the 25th.